Kia ora, my name's Renee. I like to read books and then talk about them on the internet. Hi, hello, welcome. We are officially halfway through the year. It's insane. I don't want to think about it too much, but yeah, it's July now. So I figured I may as well sit down and do a little check-in, see how our reading is tracking, whether or not I think I'm going to meet the lofty goals that I set for myself this year, and also answer some of the mid-year Freakout tag questions. Yeah, I watched Nathan's video recently. I think I also watched Matthew Sharappa's video and Kieran's video as well. So people are doing this. It's still alive and well. And I just like to have a little moment where I acknowledge the things that I've set, the intentions that I've set, and to be able to see how we're tracking overall. So that's really what this is. Little catch up, little check in, little debrief to see how we're going. First up, let's just see some of these goals that I set for myself. My numbered reading goal this year is 88, which is one more book than I read last year. Currently sitting at 36, which is a little behind, but not too bad. Still feeling pretty good about that. I think it's achievable as long as I don't fall into any massive slumps. I should be fine. I'm not super worried about it either way. Another goal that I set for myself was to try to read through Toni Morrison's catalogue of work that I hadn't already read. I think I had 8 books that I needed to read this year, and I've only read 2, which I honestly thought it was more. But yeah, it's only 2. So that's not too bad. I've got 1 book a month that I would need to get through in order to make it. And one of them is a reread. I'm going to reread Sula because I read that book years and years ago and just feel like I need a little refresher on that. So yeah, we're not too bad with that one. I still feel like it's achievable. Another goal that I set was to try to read one prize book a month. And by that I mean anything that's been longlisted for a major prize. Booker, Orange Award, National Book Award, Pulitzer, anything like that. Anything that has it on the blurb, or like you could easily find it if you did a quick search, is considered a prize book in my eye. And so far I've read 6, so doing pretty good. I definitely don't think I've read 1 a month, but I feel like that's okay. I've still read 6. So that goal is humming along nicely. The door's just fallen open. Hold on a minute. Okay, and then the last goal that I had to set was my 20 books for 2024, which is basically just 20 books that I want to read this year. And so far I've read 9, which is, again, falling a little bit behind, but not too worried about that one. Hoping I can read a few of them this month to get us back over that line. Okay, what else have we got here? We've got questions now. Questions time. Okay, question number 1. How has your 2024 reading year gone so far? So far, I would say it's kind of just like okay. I've had a couple of like good books, 1 really great book, and then a bunch of just kind of like all right books, and then a few letdowns. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. I haven't read a lot of great books, which is what I want to try to change in the second part of the year, because I need to get excited again, you know? And so far, I feel like I've kind of just been reading and not getting excited. Yeah, that's how the answer to that question. what is the best book you've read so far in 2024? As of officially today, because I just finished it, Parade by Rachel Cusk. I am not going to talk a lot about it because I've done a whole vlog on that book, so I don't want to bore you so much by repeating myself across this channel, but just know, best book that I've read so far this year, and vlog that explains all of that to come. A couple of other books that I really enjoyed this year have been Arlington Park by Rachel Cusk. Very different novel, but probably my favourite of her earlier fictional novels. It's much more of a plotted story. We are following these women who live in the suburb of Arlington Park as they go about this one day in particular. And there's a lot of commentary on suburbia, motherhood, gender, kind of domesticity. It's really funny, and it ends with a brilliant dinner party scene, which has become like my new obsession in fiction, because things always go down at a dinner party, I've noticed, in novels, and it's always pretty wild and pretty drama-filled. Another good book was The Bee Sting by Paul Murray, which I read earlier this year, maybe in like March or April, I can't quite remember. Absolutely loved it. Sprawling family saga that is set in Ireland, following the characters in this family, the Barneses, which is made up of a wife, a husband, and their 2 children. They're kind of going through quite a tumultuous time. There is a bit of scandal amongst the business that the family owns, and kind of unknownness around what's happening there. And we're following each of the characters as they work through that complicated time and how it's making them feel. And it's a really brilliant story, and the characters are all extremely lovable, but I particularly love the way that each of them was able to tell their part of the story and how individual those parts felt. Okay, question number 3. Best sequel you've read so far in 2024. I've only read one sequel, and I wouldn't say it's the best one, it's just the only one. It's the second book in the Agatha series. What's it called? Something, A Court of Mist and something. Court of Mist and Fury, is that what it's called? I picture here anyway. Yeah, I didn't love it. It was like entertaining, but it was not, I wouldn't call it like the best of anything really. It was just the sequel that I read so far this year. Question number 4, a new release you haven't read yet but want to. All Fours by Miranda July is at the top of my list. Like, I think I'm going to pick it up next. But yeah, I've heard so many good things about it. I got massive FOMO from hearing everyone talk about it. It initially wasn't a book that I was like all that interested in, but enough people get talking about something, I definitely feel like I need to read it. And so yeah, I think I'm picking it up next. So we'll see how that goes. Question number 5, most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I don't know too many releases happening in the second part of the year, but I do know that Liars by Sarah Manguso is still yet to come out. I've been seeing a lot of people with their arcs, and I'm very jealous. I spoke about that book in my 2024 books and most anticipated books video that I did, which I don't typically do those kinds of videos, but that was fun to do at the top of the year. And that book was like one of the most anticipated books for me on that list, and still is. Like, I cannot wait to read it. It, I think, is about a couple who their relationship is like falling apart, perhaps, and I think from memory the blurb said something like, for fans of like Rachel Cusk and Clarice Lispector and somebody else, like, it was just the combo of people and the premise of I think she's an artist, or like the husband's an artist, and it just had the combo of all the right things that I like in a book. So I am really looking forward to getting my hands on that book when it comes out. Question number 6, the biggest disappointment of 2024 so far. Probably The Road by Cormac McCarthy. I had really high hopes for that book. It is a favourite of many people, and I have been looking forward to reading it for years. I've had it on my shelf for years, and to finally pick it up and read it was, just it did not live up to everyone else's expectations for it for me, I don't think. Like, everyone was kind of like, oh, I'm so excited for you to read this book, and like they were getting me hyped up about it, and the reality was that I just didn't enjoy it. I found it very boring. I think the setting and the repetitive, matter-of-fact writing, combined with this like relationship between the father and the son, which I just didn't quite connect with, those things for me equal just like not a good time. It just didn't work for me in the way that I think it worked for a lot of other people. And that's okay. Not every book is for every person, and I'm glad to have read it, but it was a big disappointment. Okay, question number 7, biggest surprise of 2024 so far. Parade by Rachel Cusk was a massive surprise. I knew I was going to like it, but I didn't know I was going to like it as much as I did. That's why I'm so excited for this vlog, because I get to talk about it a lot. But another book that was a big surprise was probably So Late in the Day by Claire Keegan. I read Small Things Like These at the top of the year and really didn't understand the fuss about that book at all. So I was more reluctant going into that So Late in the Day, because I was kind of just like, I don't really have any expectations for this to be amazing. I don't think it was amazing, but it was very enjoyable. I did have a very good time. I think because the bar was quite low and I ended up enjoying it, I was surprised by that. I was surprised because I was really I was set out to hate that book. But I didn't. I enjoyed it. It's a really short book, like a micro story, I would call it, about an Irishman who is mourning the loss of a relationship and kind of contemplating, thinking about moments in time through that relationship and potential catalysts for the breakdown, I think. I will say that Claire Keegan's books are very transportive, and she has a really good way of just describing things that make you feel there and present, and I love that kind of storytelling, that you feel like you can just slip right into the scene. Okay, question number 8, favourite new author, new to you or debut? I've only read one debut author this year that I can think of, Eliza Barry Callahan, The Hearing Test. I read that just last month and I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good debut, very much reminded me of Cusk in a lot of ways. Is about a woman who wakes up one day to discover she's gone deaf in one ear, and is really about her trying to figure out where to from here. It's an important sense to most people, but for her it's her livelihood, and so she's thinking a lot of these like existential questions, and I just thought it was a nice kind of meditative, thinky, thoughtful story. Another author that I would say that's not like a debut but is new to me was Percival Everett. I read his book James, which I really enjoyed, and I'm excited to read more of his writing because he has like an extensive back catalogue of work, which is exciting to think about. yeah, those are the two that I can pick out from this year so far. Okay, question number 9, newest fictional crush. I don't think I read books that have characters who are like crushable, but a character from a book that I really thought was quite sweet and likable was the character of Mush from Carla by Colin Walsh. This is a thriller, crime, literary, fictional novel set in an Irish town about a group of friends who were friends growing up and have all come back to the small town for one reason or another. And the remains of their friend who went missing when they were teenagers are found, and it kind of brings up the whole friend group's history, and they're all kind of going back through that trauma of that moment and how they've all dealt with it. Anyway, Mush is one of the friends, and he is this just sweet, lovable guy who has a real like soft side to him. He is hanging out with this group of guys, but then they meet these girls and they all become friends, and he kind of feels much more comfortable hanging out with the girls because he feels like he can be more himself. You know, he's not a real lad's lad. He has that softer side to him that just feels comfortable around women, being able to, you know, be taken care of and kind of doted over, and I guess just be relaxed around. You know, he went through a lot and a lot happened to him in the story, and he just loves his family and wants the best for everyone. And yeah, I really did love Mush. Okay, question number 10, book that made you cry. No book has made me cry this year. I don't really cry when I read books, but a book that definitely touched me and a nerve that was like close to tears was probably The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Just the saddest story about a young girl kind of and her desperation to like be a different person and to be accepted and loved and cared for, that really deep down like childish yearning for love and protection and to feel comfort was just so like heartbreaking and devastating. And the last part of that book where she's kind of, I guess, kind of like watching her life kind of happen like outside of her own body was just so, it really, really did like wrench at my heart a bit. And I guess if I was more of a tearful person, that I would have cried in that moment. But yeah, that was a beautiful book to read and get emotional about. I still got emotional, I just did not shed the tears to show that. Question number 11, book you saw on TikTok and regret reading. I do not have TikTok. I do have TikTok, but I am not allowed TikTok on my phone because I can get lost in that app for honestly like hours and hours and hours. I don't know what it is about it, but I just cannot have it on my phone. So I would say a book that I saw on like Instagram, which is probably another version of TikTok, and was like influenced to read it through social media, was Pineapple Street by Jenny Jackson. It was really bad. I could see what it was trying to do. It was trying to be this like smart, interesting commentary on like generational wealth and billionaires and, you know, capitalism and nepotism, and it just did not execute very well. It was a family drama saga set in New York. All the characters were insufferable. None of them felt redeeming at all by the end of the book, and I feel like some of them were like actively written to be redeeming, but they just weren't. And yeah, I just didn't think it was good at all, and I saw that a lot on social media, and it wasn't good. No. Question number 12. Most beautiful book you bought this year? Well, I have it right here with me. I purchased this on a whim because I saw it in the bookshop and thought that's really pretty. Thunderhead by Miranda Darling. Isn't that just gorgeous? It's got like a pearlescent motif on the front. I don't know how you describe that. Pearls floating in the sky. That's what it is, over some clouds. Yeah, I just thought it was really pretty, and it made me pick it up and buy it, so that's got to say something for it, right? I've read this book, actually, and I thought it was good. It's another debut writer who feels like they're influenced by Cusk, about an artist, a woman and a mother who is frantically going about her day but trying to appear poised and put together on the surface, but really there's like a storm a brewing underneath it all, kind of deal. Yeah. But yeah, that's my prettiest, most beautiful book I think I bought this year. There we go. Okay, what are the books you need to read by the end of the year? Well, I have 11 books that I need to read by the end of the year. The rest of my 20 for 2024 list. But besides that, a book that I want to read, I don't think I need to read it, but I want to read it before the end of the year, is Prairie Dresses Art Other by Danielle Dutton. I just picked this up today from the bookshop. They ordered it in for me. This book has been spoken about by many people on the internet that I follow, trust, and will happily take recommendations from their taste. It is, I guess, the 4 sections each speak to their own topic, and from what I've heard, kind of deal with those things in different forms. And yeah, a lot of people have said it's like a favorite book of theirs now, so that is enough for me. I was sold, and yeah, I really want to read this before the end of the year. I'm probably going to read it really soon, to be honest, but that's up there. Favorite videos you've made so far in 2024? I think my most anticipated reads in 2024 video was fun to make because I've never made a book video like that before. I don't typically talk about books that are like coming out because I just haven't. But that was fun to look at what was coming out this year and get excited about things, and I feel like for once I'm kind of like in the know, and usually I'm not. So yeah, that was I enjoyed making that video. I enjoyed like doing the research to see what was coming out, and I don't know, be a part of the discussion about books for 2024. Aroha, I just had to change the battery for my camera because it's about to die. It's probably not even sitting in the same place. I can see that it's not. At least, is it straight? Okay. Who knows? Question number 15. A video you thought would flop but did well. Probably not a video, but specifically the really long vlogs that I've done recently. Yeah, I honestly did not think people would want to sit through a 50-minute vlog. It's not even necessarily something that I would, the right person I would, but yeah, I just honestly thought like with the first one I made, like no one would watch it, it would do really bad, but people were like into it, which was cool to see because they do take a lot more work than most vlogs, like to edit. The last one I made, however, I think it was a bit too long and it hasn't done as well, but it's done okay. So yeah, I think I know the sweet spot, but I don't know. They require more effort, more editing. It's a lot of work. So I won't be doing them all the time, but it's good to know that people enjoy them because sometimes you just do have a lot of footage to get through and you want to be able to include it all. And it's good to know that people aren't always put off by the length. Okay, question number 16. Any upcoming videos you're excited to make? Rachel Cusk wrap-up video. I've officially finished all of her books, and now I want to talk about them because this video was supposed to come out 6 months ago, but it's taken me a while to get through everything. So yeah, I'm excited to sit down and plan the video and think about it and come up with some kind of like comprehensive guide through Rachel Cusk's work for you all. I did a video like that for Elena Ferrante when I read all of her work the year before last, and that did really well. So yeah, I think these videos could be quite helpful for people who maybe don't know an artist, don't know the writer, aren't sure where to start, want to know what they're about, that kind of thing. So I'm hoping that will be useful. I've also been wondering about doing a favorite books of all time video because I haven't done something like that on my channel before. I am a bit apprehensive about it because I feel like I don't know if I've read enough to have like a comprehensive favorite books of all time, but I don't know, let me know what you think. If enough people say yes, I might start to think about it, but at this stage I'm kind of like, I don't know. Okay, last question, number 17. Any channel goals before the end of the year? I would like to try to reach 4K by the end of the year. I think I'm at 3.2 at the moment. So I've got a bit of a way. How many actually? Let's have a look. Yeah, 3,268 is what I'm at, which is, you know, it's not bad. It's a bit of a way to go, but 4K by the end of the year would be a nice number to reach. And I just want to be a bit more consistent with uploading. I think I enjoy doing this. It's obviously a lot of work, but I like producing these videos and interacting with people through them. So yeah, a bit more consistency would be great. And that's about it. I don't really have major plans for the channel. It's just kind of my side hobby that I like to do, and I'm not trying to achieve world domination or do something that I'm like overly proud of. Like, I'm proud of it, but it's just, it is what it is, right? And that's good enough for me. Right, that's the mid-year check-in / freakout tag questions done. Would love to know how you're all going. If you have a reading goal, what's the percentage? How are we going? Feeling good? If you don't have a reading goal, or if you want to answer this question instead, what is your favorite book that you've read so far this year? I would love to hear from you. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Ciao.